Hello, I'm back and filming from the car again as the neighbour is mowing the lawns, plus there's some wind, because you can see that on camera. Not much has happened in car stuff since I've been gone. Just had some other life stuff that took priority. But we're back into the fun today, and as you can tell from the intro, on the mighty wagon. The car survived the Auckland flooding. Luckily we were up the hill, but there was a lot of cars that got taken close to where I live, which I low-key want to buy as a cheap race car build, but anyway. Yeah, back into the wagon today. Over the Christmas break, I used this car as a bit more of a daily. For work, I don't actually have to drive that much. I can walk to work or work from home. But over the Christmas break period, I was using it back and forth to go see family, visit my sister's place, and that sort of thing. And it ran well, like, most of the time, except it has some new quirks, which you can probably tell from the intro, where, like, it's sweet now if I work around it. But it was like running fine, running mint, and then one day, like in Newmarket, left foot braking, right foot revving it, trying to keep the damn thing alive. It was so lumpy, it was so chunky, and then as I parked at like the shopping mall, it literally just died as I pulled into the park. Managed to figure it out. As you can tell, all the engine bay stuff honestly just lives here right now. Like, check this out. We don't need this just stays here. We don't have a cabin air filter. Basically everything that's required, like every piece of trim that's required to get to the thing that I have to, sensor I have to keep clean for it to run, I've just left off, and I kind of like it. We've even got the like air intake box, no air scoop to the front, so you get the real loud, little bad sounding but just funny intake sound. So the oil is leaking into that sensor. Into that plug, sorry. So the sensor's got its own seal onto the rocker cover gasket, and oil's coming through there, and it was pooling in the plug. And the reason it got real rough is because that's the sensor for the Valvetronic. They have the Valvetronic where the throttle pedal changes the valve height, and that's how you control how much air goes into the engine on these. So without that, the computer's reverting back to the throttle body. You're getting really confused with the Valvetronic motor because the sensor's there. So I figured that out, luckily, cleaned all the oil out, and it's slow enough where I can do like 2 or 3 trips possibly without having to clean it when it runs bad. But it's kind of just like my standard practice now, when you saw, where I just like go in the boot, grab the contact cleaner, clean out the plug, chuck it back in, chuck it back together, and off you go. So yeah, so that will need to be fixed at some point. We don't have the parts for that, so we'll just carry on with other stuff. I might just leave off the plastics off. I like this car just being like simple and functional. I honestly just like being able to get to the engine bay and not care about taking that stuff off, so we'll see. But also I don't know if you noticed in the start there's that real decent chain rattle that comes and goes. I mean, it's always had it, and N42 is bound to have it. Really what you need to do is probably at this point redo the chain. But regardless of that, I figured the tensioner is probably old, so we've got a tensioner chuck in today. Okay, first things first, we have the new seats. For reference, you can see the driver's seat is buggered in the current one. The foam's also buggered. There's literally just straight metal coming through there, and it's torn there. The passenger's one of the ones that are in it, it's a little bit like stretched and buggered up there. But with these seats, so you have a look at them up close, they need a massive clean, but the Alcantara and stuff's largely better. The foam is in better condition, the seams are in better condition, and they will tidy up, I think, just generally a whole lot nicer. I was thinking of changing the seats in this, but honestly, most E46 seats I really don't like. They're really uncomfy, but these ones I like, so I'm going to stick with them. They're also free, which is cool. The other thing I have is a genuine BMW chain tensioner. So these are superseded, so the original ones have changed I think twice now because they didn't have a strong enough spring. Pretty easy to change. They're just literally like a bolt, and they just go on. I think they're like 65 newton-meters. I'll double check that. But if you try compress this bit with your thumb, like these ones are, like, you can do it, but they're quite stiff. I'll show you the comparison when we take the other one out. It's probably buggered, so won't fix the stretch that the chain's already got. So if the chain's too far stretched, it won't do anything. But if that tension is not helping keeping the chain in its condition it is tight, this should get rid of some chain rattle and make it a bit happier and prevent it completely exploding for a little bit longer. The other thing I have is a fuel filter and pressure regulator. So these are a filter and pressure regulator built in. I've changed these on E46 before and noticed a massive difference in how they drive, rather than just like a normal one that's just a filter. So keen to change this. This one I got is just Bosch branded. I mean, Bosch is a good brand, not really known for fuel filters, I guess. I think, forget who I don't know, forget who the OEM one was, but this was a good price, and I figured it's probably good enough. Yeah, so the other thing is is the brakes. Let me grab those and show you those. So we have some very nice Brembo slotted brake discs. So these are still the standard 318 size, so not as big as a 330. I considered doing like a 330 brake swap on this, but this thing's meant to just be like as it is, make it nicer in a cool daily, so I just wanted to get like the coolest parts but staying in stock, not really swapping or change anything at this stage. So these are quite cool. Got the slotted instead of the drilled, simply because if you do some heavy braking, these will hopefully not warp or crack as easily. Plus I just thought they looked damn cool. So this is the front one here, and oh sorry, that's the back one, that's why it's smaller. And these are the fronts, so slightly bigger. Still pretty decent sized brakes, and I mean this thing stops pretty fine, so I think with this will be good. And also we have, look at them, they're so pretty. Yeah, so these apparently have a coating that means they look like this and don't rust even when you're using them. I don't really believe that, but we'll see how we go. But anyway, for now, and for the first time we put them on, they look pretty cool. We also have some very nice Brembo brake pads. So the Brembo does like a race pad. This is just their standard OEM replacement pad. Didn't really want to spend the money on race pads because we're not really going to be going that fast in a 318, but yeah, they look cool. Now I can say I have Brembo brakes and everyone will think I have an upgrade. Front pads, rear pads, all around bit of a brake refresh. Well, that was the intention. So what you might notice here is that I have two brake discs in my hands, and this one is a rear one, and this one is a front one. Now, with trying to balance the shipping weights and to try and make everything coming to New Zealand shipping wise a bit cheaper, I somehow, I'm not sure if I can't remember, so I got these with some other parts on like a Black Friday sale, and I can't remember if, so either one or two things happened. I dropped some of the things out of the cart to drop the shipping down, thinking I'd just do the front brakes now and I'd order the rear brakes later on, or what I've done is I've confused myself and clicked that I thought they were two in a box where it was just the one in the box. Either way, they turned up and I have one front brake here and one rear brake here. So I can't put them on unless I want to like just do the left side. I was thinking maybe I just put like, just refresh the brakes on the left side, and then when I brake I'll just be hooking left hard. Or I could maybe like do diagonal, so I could do a front left and a rear right, and maybe that would keep it straight. Either way, we're not going to bother. I will order some of these. Basically just the other ones, the ones that are missing. I think my original plan might have been to like just do the fronts first and order the rears later. Either way, a bit of an idiot, stuffed up. I got pads all around, but I've got odd matching discs, so they're literally pointless at this time. But let's get into doing the chain tensioner. Our chain tensioner friend sits literally just here. You can see how this one's got the thin bolt head, so that means it has been superseded. They put the superseded part in. The original part had like a lot thicker, probably like more like a, I don't know, 1.52 centimeter bolt head. So you can see there that's a narrow one, so it's been changed, but I want to change it anyway. Just gonna set up my sacrificial microfiber down here, so that when you are down here and you undo that guy, a little bit of oil will run out and it'll just roll into the rag rather than down onto whatever's below there. Sweet, so as you can see, like not much oil comes out at all. It's pretty good. This is our old guy here. They're quite cool really. They've got a little inlet just here, probably just see, and I think they get oil through here from the block where they sit, and then there's a spring inside and there's a little injector guy at the end, so as they compress, and that I can probably show you as I squeeze this, you should see the oil come out, which keeps the end that touches the chain nice and lubricated, which is pretty cool. Check if these are genuine and if it's the part number. So the one that came out isn't genuine. It's not a genuine part number. Just not a genuine part. But just interested to see now the difference in the spring loading. In my strong hand and my weak hand, and yeah, this one is like, I can almost compress it all the way, it's easy as. This one here is impossible to go more than just the start, so keeps the chain a lot tighter and hopefully prevents it getting any more stretched and slacked by the whole Valvetronic bad timing chain load issues stuff. Let's check this one in. Ideally you would possibly lube this one up beforehand. I'm not really going to fuss on this car. I just tried this like 600 times with oily hands, and then went and washed my hands and sprayed the socket I was using clean and got it first shot. It's just like real fiddly. You have to put enough pressure in on the pin to be able to twist it while being have enough strength to line it up. So yeah, if you have slightly oily hands, don't attempt this because you'll rip your finger off and it's annoying. And I literally just did it first try with clean hands that weren't oily, because you have to push in like this with this hand, push in really hard, and then get in here to twist it with the other hand so you can get the thread lined up nicely by hand. Sweet, that's all in. I just had a lunch break, so haven't started it, but the engine should be cool now, so I'll chuck the camera up there and let's start it and see if the chain rattle has decreased. You guys can sit here and listen to my mean induction sounds. Sweet, that sounds way better. Fingers crossed that helps. And now let's do this guy. These rip me so bad. I'm so gutted. They look so good and I just want to fit them, but we can't because I'm an uppity. Huh? Jacked it up. I had to change it to try to get a bit of a more gap under the ramp. So it's kind of a little sketchy close to the edge of the bank, but that's fine. I put some blocks there. So you can see the old one just there. It's looking pretty aged. Had some life, little buggered, but overall I think doesn't look that bad. The cool thing was the vacuum line that connects to the pressure regulator here and goes back up to the intake, that I was worried that hose would be all crumbled and broken. I'd have to replace that too, but looking at it, it looks pretty sweet. Sweet, so that's all done. I spoke too soon about getting fuel on me. I literally just got some right down my arm. I was pretty much doing it from like back here the whole time and using the camera, you guys over there, and working blindly, watching through the camera so I could see what I was doing. Because to get in here to see, it's not the most glamorous in terms of clearance. When I wanted to work this way, I'd have to come to this spot to be able to twist my head around, and then I'd come this way to work that way, and then it's annoying, but it's in, looks good. Did get some petrol in every single cut that I could possibly have, even the ones I didn't know existed. And I pulled some petrol down my arm. Check this out, so hopefully you can see if this is the out, this is where it goes into the engine. You can see if nice and clean. But if I block both ends here, give it a shake back and forth, shake up what's in there, and I pour it back out to the tank side on this side. Hopefully you can see, maybe against my hand, it's quite a lot browner. Like, it's nasty brown. So hopefully it'll be quite happy to have the new one in there, because this was quite filled with stuff. Let's give it a prime, just get the ignition on, let the fuel pump run. Just doing it a couple times. There'll be a lot of air in there because there'll be a bit of air in the pipe because I didn't do the most amazing job at blocking. Now will she start and run, or will she start and die, or not start at all? Oh, not at all. There we go. Get some fuel through there. Still looks dry. Now it's missing like this again, and it does this now and then at idle. When I took out the coils the other day, one of them's lost its plastic, so I might just pull that one out and change it with another old one and see if it improves it. Because often when running, sometimes it'll like be rough when you first start it. Not when like on startup, but it'll go once it's warmed up and in idling, it'll be crap. But then if you're doing like a longer drive, sometimes like 30-20 minutes into the drive, it just starts idling smooth as heck, and you don't have a problem after that. So this is the guy I was talking about. So sorry, it's not the best lighting, but if you can see here with the rubber boot on, it looks fine. When I took these apart to try and clean the tips, if you pull this rubber boot off, you see there it is cracked and a bit buggered. So I just want to replace this one with another one, because I feel like that, as well as the end of it being quite corroded, is not helping for connection at low revs. Ideally I think I might just get a whole new set of these, so I know, because playing around with all these old ones is pick one with nice connection, but you don't know if it's dead inside, and just because they run sweet most of the time doesn't mean they have a slight miss with them, or that at idle there's too much corrosion in that and they're not getting a great spark. So I'd like just some clean nice ones, so I can rule out any pinking or issues that it still slightly has aren't from coils in some way or another. It's a bit better. There's still definitely a miss there, but it's better than it was. We'll get there eventually. We'll get it running miss-free and a bit smoother. The smoothest E46 that ever existed. Sweet guys, I'm going to call it at that today. It's idling a lot nicer now, which is good. That coil did make a difference. And I think that fuel filter will make a bit of a difference. Probably not going to go take it for a spin too much now, but it is revving a lot smoother and seems to pick up more and a bit happier at the top end. So that is good. And less chain rattle / no chain rattle, so nice about that. And we'll do the seats in the next one. I will order the other ones of these pretty things, and we can do those. But check this out. I'm ready for some intense induction sounds. Look at that smoothness. Woo. Oh, red line's gonna blow up now. But listen to the induction sounds. It gives me so much joy. This sounds so shit, but it sounds so good at the same time. You should hear this thing when it's going like uphill under load and it needs to change down the auto. It's just, it's the most disgusting sound, but it's so funny. Changes down and just under load, that intake sound just gets so much more intense. Anyway, it's revving smoother, it's feeling a bit more like a fun four cylinder should, so we'll keep chipping away at it, and maybe we'll get something different on the intake that makes it sound induction sound, but a nice induction sound. Anyway, thanks for watching guys. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe, and if you could hit the like button, that would be awesome if you liked it. If not, don't hit it. We'll catch you soon.